All right, we are live. This works. Sorry, guys, for the brief, not so brief, technical difficulties. We had to create a duplicate Google Hangout, anyway, technical issues. But we're here, and we see you guys. Actually, you see us. Andre Jick, Kristen Gerhardt, and hopefully you guys in the chat. If you can hear us, see us okay, go to theory11.com/expose, and you can, wait, I'm hearing myself. Let's see. Here we go. We're better. If you guys can hear us and see us okay, go to theory11.com/expose and let us know in the chat that you can hear us and see us. Welcome, Andre, Kristen. What's up?
What's up? Hope you guys had a good 4th of July. Like I'm wearing a 4th of July t-shirt. Yay.
And Comic-Con, if anyone's at Comic-Con.
Yep, that's right. Hope you had a good...
Yep, can you hear me okay? Andre, I can't hear you. Kristen, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear Andre.
Andre, you're mute. We can't hear you. But Kristen, I hear you, and we're good.
Yes,
and I can see
we are
you guys
good.
in the chat. So Andre, maybe refresh yours. I don't know why it's happening. But yes, I see you guys in the chat. You're saying you can hear me. Good. We are live. I can hear you, says Bryant Sue, spelled Y-E-W. If you're having any issues hearing this, seeing this video, just refresh theory11.com/expose. You should be able to hear us and see us. Let us know if you have any issues.
Yeah.
Andre, you back? Can you hear me? Yes, you're good.
Now.
You're good. We can hear Andre now.
I can hear you. Yay!
So Andre, whatever you were saying like 40 seconds ago, all we heard was this.
I hope I look good doing it.
You look great doing it. You look really good. That's what I was going to say next.
Someone should clip that out of this video and then overdub it and then post it on Instagram. Please, if you're watching and you can do that, do that.
That's our contest this week. You take
that should be the contest.
Yes.
Make the most ridiculous voiceover ever.
Oh, amazing.
It's like a Godzilla video with.
No, I was actually saying that I'm wearing my 4th of July shirt. Did anyone hear that? No.
Well, I'm wearing my
Happy
geek shirt, so
Canada Day. Yes.
we're all representing.
But unlike yours, Kristen,
Nice.
Andre's actually been wearing that shirt since the 4th of July, and today is the 10th. So.
Wow. So
I
it's
am not taking it
really
off
bad
yet.
now.
No, it smells amazing. It smells amazing. I work in reverse. But anyway, today we are later joined by Spidey. Spidey, by the way, is an amazing creator who has released a bunch of stuff with us. He's been on Face Off, he's been on Wizard Wars, he's been on a bunch of TV appearances. He's amazing. So he's going to be joining us live later on to answer all you guys' questions and concerns. We can talk about Break and a few other things, upcoming projects that we're working with him. And yeah, that said, let's begin Expose. Let's roll.
Someone should have sung over that.
Can we do the sound over the logo as well? That would be awesome.
Can we just sing the Twin Peaks theme song over that?
We'll do both. We'll do both. I like it. I like it.
Let's roll with it. All right.
Okay,
so,
perfect.
News.
So in terms of the news, we have actually a lot of stuff going on. This I didn't know existed because I don't get Pop TV, but if you guys get Pop TV, which was formerly the TV Guide channel, which I also don't seem to get, Don't Blink is a new magic show on there. I have yet to see it because I couldn't track it down. I don't get Pop TV. Check your local listings to make sure that you get it.
Wait,
or
what's Pop
see if you
TV?
can find it online.
It's a whole network?
Apparently. It's amazing. I feel like I've just discovered this new vein of gold, and I can't wait to watch it. But you'll recognize a lot of people on the show, like Murray Sawchuk. So if you get Pop TV, or someone you know gets Pop TV, you should look it up, check it out, and it's called Don't Blink. Which I guess is the thing. Sounds really uncomfortable if you're watching it. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds unsustainable, but I like the name.
And more magic on TV. The Carbonaro Effect Season 2 will be back on True TV on July 29th. I know that's a little ways away, but it gives you time to like mark your calendars and watch all of Season 1 of The Carbonaro Effect. Yay!
Yay.
And then, if you can stand any more awesome news, Dan White was on the Today Show this morning, and we have it up on the media section. It's actually a really awesome trick that he does, and the hosts are hilarious. I just saw that this morning. It's quite a segment.
I was there for that, so we had to be there at 6 a.m., like dressed, ready to go on at 6 a.m.
Because you don't like to get places undressed at 6 a.m.
I like to go, if
I'm
going someplace at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be naked. That's just a
What is it with you and just not wanting to wear pants ever?
6 a.m. That's yeah. So we did the Today Show. We were naked. Anyway, we were arrested, but everything turned out fine. We're not allowed near schools or playgrounds anymore. Anyway, it was awesome though. No, it was great. So we had this. Dan I think had 4.5 minutes. This with Kathy Lee and Hoda were the two hosts of their 4th hour. It broadcast today. We were in the middle of the rehearsal that we did with the director, and I'm standing there, and you see like a bump in my shoulder. And I look to the left, and it was Matt Lauer standing
nice.
right behind the camera, which is awesome. Life goal achieved, unlocked. And yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a fun trick. The trick was actually a version of Brian Brushwood's book test. So special thanks to Brian Brushwood for his help on this. We worked with him over the past week putting this whole thing together. So thanks to him, thanks to Warren, Dan, obviously, and everyone else that helped put that thing together. You can check out the video now if you missed it. If you by any chance were not awake at 6 a.m. this morning, you can go to the Theory11 media section, theory11.com/media, and watch it now. It turned out pretty cool.
They had the hots for Dan, I think. They were like, oh, Dan, such a hot ticket, such a hot New York ticket. Oh, God.
Okay, somebody also has to clip that section of Andre saying that out of this video and then put that on the loop for me. I want that as my ringtone.
As my intro.
Dan should have that on his website.
No, that should be his voicemail. Yes, his voicemail.
It should be. So in more news, we have 2 pieces from David Copperfield. He actually wrote a little short essay for Maxim talking about why we're so fascinated with the Vanishing Act, I guess is how he put it. It's really worth a read. Definitely check it out. It's a really quick read, but it's really interesting. And we will have a link for you, I'm sure, somewhere. But it's on Maxim.com. And if you just look up David Copperfield.
Copperfield tweeted it, retweeted it, so you can see it there.
Then you can check him out on Twitter and do that. And then, also, he made the top 20 highest-grossing celebrities list at number 20, I believe, we said?
Yes, just rounding up the top 20.
Which is awesome. What you said he's next to Justin Timberlake, and then, what did you say, P. Diddy? He's around still?
It was actually listed as Sean Combs. I think P. Diddy is retired. It's now Sean Combs is the new...
Oh, man.
Weird.
Name, yeah.
That's what it says, at least in Forbes. I don't know. I don't keep up with the hip-hops.
How often does he change it? Like every 2-3 years?
Whenever he wants. We should
if
have
he's
a
like Prince, it's just whenever. He's like a phoenix. He just like dies in his
artist formerly known
and then he becomes this new thing. It's great.
I like David Copperfield calling himself D-Cops. D-Cop.
Is that going to be a thing? Please say that's going to be a thing. Oh, if he started rapping.
I can ask him. It won't happen, but I can ask him.
Please let that be a thing.
But yeah, that was pretty
right. So
it's cool. He's the only magician in the top 100 list. So that's some cool motivation for all of us watching this, doing this.
He's still the number 1 highest solo grossing entertainer of all time, right?
Yeah, he's been on these lists for better part of 20 years now at various positions, but still doing extremely well in his career and going on 30 years into his career, which is pretty inspiring.
And he's also on the celebrities that own their own islands list.
Yeah, I think that list is like 7 people, but he's definitely on that list as well.
It's amazing. Oh my goodness.
But he's got 11 of them, right?
He has 11 islands, not just 1. Yes, but
technically the list should be 1 through 11 should be David Copperfield, and then
if you guys haven't seen that, you go to mushacay.com, mushacay.com. You can see what Copperfield's island looks like. He rents this out for private events and weddings, and celebrities go there. But it's just absolutely insane paradise island chain in the Bahamas.
Maybe is it true that this is how we got our name, theory11.com? It's like 1 for each and every island. Theory 1, Theory 2, Theory 3. That's the name of the islands.
100%.
Oh my gosh, I feel like this is just going to be lost all over again. We have to make a TV show about this. All of the 11.
There's already a TV show like that. It is called Lost.
Yes, but now it's over, so we need a new one.
Lost. Again. Still lost.
Still lost.
Lost again.
Terrible sense of direction.
And found. Yeah.
So that's the news.
All right, guys. So we have a bunch of wire releases, but if I show you the videos, I feel like you're not going to get the audio for it. So we're going to try to do this live without audio. But since it's visual, it's still going to look cool. So let's get started.
Kristen,
first one we have
over the.
Yes.
Oh,
please,
no,
please do.
Beatbox,
Please
but
do.
I can make silly noises, which I guess is beatboxing, right?
By definition.
Let's do it. All right, so the first one we have is Photon by Dennis Kim, where he basically takes a single playing card and it effortlessly shoots out of the deck quicker than the eye can see. It looks a bit knacky, but it looks like it's worth learning it. So it's only 99 cents, and he teaches several applications and effects using his technique. So let's check it out. It's called Photon. Doesn't he look amazing?
Yes, it's striking. Also, I love the name of this effect.
Photon.
Photon?
Bam. Physics. Boom. See that? Physics. Photon is a
That's
measure of
great.
light, right?
A photon is it's a particle of light essentially. So
It's the smallest form of light measurement, right?
yeah. So okay. So when you're looking at whenever you're gathering particles of light through your eye, you're gathering photons. So it's basically light. It is light.
Nice.
I understood
That
100%
is the
of
physics
that.
lesson for today.
Yay, physics!
I love physics. Next one we have is called Flex Straw by Zihu. Wait, get ready for this. Maibagyahu. Say that 10 times fast. But it's really cool because it was originally submitted to us a while back, and like ever since seeing it, I fell in love with it. But so you introduce a normal straw. People can examine it. You fold the head of the straw, and you pull the end of it to the beginning of it. It makes no sense when I'm describing it, but it'll make sense when you see it. And you can give it out for examination. Your hands are totally empty, and can be performed with a borrowed straw. So I love seeing organic magic, but this is basically how it looks like. Buildings, pigeons.
Bicycles.
They're reacting. All right, so there it is. So he folds over the straw, and then he moves the end of it from the beginning. And just like, that makes no sense.
People. Ceilings. Ties. Pens.
Pencils.
All right, I see it. All right, he folds over the end of the straw, and then, okay.
And then moves it up. Yeah.
That's really
cool. And look at the view. You can get a 360 view of it. That's amazing.
What is this one called?
It's called Flex Straw.
I see why it's called that.
Mm-hmm.
So does this guy.
That guy only got a haircut on the left sides of his head.
The left sides of his head.
The left sides.
He's got two.
Two left sides, depending which way you're looking.
Yeah.
Wow,
Look at that. That looks
really cool.
amazing.
It looks really good.
Really cool. And then he moves it all the way up, and then it becomes the end. Look at that. That's so cool. And that's amazing.
I feel like if Andre did this effect, it would have sound effects like
Coming from my mouth. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Coming
you
from
give
my-
away your Apple Watch, now you can't have watch effects with it.
Are you still using yours, by the way? What? That's
Y'all
Andre,
Let's
put
try.
everyone your Apple Watch.
I have one.
Exactly.
Dude, it saved me at Comic-Con yesterday. It was awesome.
What? How?
She was
Yeah,
like, I didn't know what time it was, and there was no other way for me to know.
No, it's great because you can set alarms and you can still get your text messages and call people and you never
Do
have
that
to
on
dig
this
around.
thing.
But when you're at Comic-Con, you're carrying so much stuff, like it's crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Hashtag first world problems when carrying this around is too much. Like, this is what broke the back.
Okay,
I
when
can't.
you're
Oh, that's so heavy.
So lazy.
Have you seen the bags they give you at Comic-Con? I could
have not.
fit in it. That's how big those bags are. And you fill it with stuff because you want to get all this awesome stuff at Comic-Con. So no, it's really, really difficult. I promise you.
I'll take your word for it.
Last but not least, we have Chunk by Dalton Wayne. If you guys remember, Dalton Wayne used to release a bunch of stuff with us. He's a really cool creator, actually. He's got a unique style. And speaking
Very
of
creative
organic, yeah, speaking of, I'm going to get to that. So basically, he takes an apple and he takes a bite out of it, and then he restores it. Very simple, very straightforward. Let's check it out. Videos look funny when they have no sound. I don't know. That looks amazing, though. So he takes a bite and then just restores it instantly.
This looks like a montage of some of my like worst nightmares and a cool magic trick in together.
I was
When
thinking
you're on
like a
drugs.
90s music video on MTV.
Wow, that's
Look at
awesome. Trick is
Cool.
really great.
Really
That was
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
That's scary?
Oh.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Little known fact, you can eat those stickers on fruit, by the way.
You can eat anything,
Yeah, I mean,
it's just
I-
whether or not you're supposed to. I could eat this
I-
one.
I
No,
love
they're
the
edible.
previews.
They're made for. I mean, you're not. I mean, I don't eat them, but you can eat them, and they're fine.
You can eat your iPhone. It's 4 to 5
I
dentist
don't.
free.
I don't know if you can do that.
You can. It's
I
not
know.
recommended.
I just imagine that like whenever he edits his previews and his work, he just like takes a bunch of psychedelics and then he just goes on a like just an editing spree.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
like it.
this-
It's very entertaining. It's fun to watch.
It
No,
is really
it's
entertaining. I
interesting.
love it.
Yeah.
But in separate news, I'm going to tell you guys about an initiative we're doing pretty soon with our elite points. So if you submit a video to the media section using one of our effects and your video gets published, you'll instantly earn 1,000 elite member points, which you can use for anything you want, from discounts to items on the archive, anywhere from items like, I don't know, Jason England's signed deck from one of our shoots. But I'll tell you more about that initiative once we launch it. But for now, I just want to give you guys a quick heads up about that. It's going to be awesome. And also, Blake Voigt is coming to Las Vegas. He's actually, I think, here in town now with Justin Woolman. And we're going to be jamming on his next project that he showed a performance for you guys a few weeks ago. It's seriously an amazing effect.
I think we showed that
you guys-
that live performance
Yeah,
the first time or second time on Expose live. He did
Yeah,
it
a few
for you guys.
weeks ago. Yep. Yeah, it was so good. So remember, he takes the card in this like empty hand, and you name any card, and that card instantly arrives inside
He has
your
one
hand.
card
You're
in his
able to-
hand. He opens up his hand and opens up the
Cleanly,
card, and
yeah.
that's it. And then your mind
So
explodes, and you run
good.
outside, and you're.
So good. So good. But that being said, I think we are ready for the main event. Spidey.
Yay.
Spiderson.
Spidey Spiderson.
Did we prepare some
Yes.
sort of logo animation that's like Spidey shooting like webs and stuff that we didn't have time?
Oh man.
All right, everyone
No,
close your
no.
eyes and just imagine that happening, because that's what we need. That.
Yeah. Yes. Well, let's get him on here. One sec. And
During this broadcast, by the way, you guys can continue to post questions in the chat at theory11.com/expose. Ask your questions to Spidey or obviously to anyone else on this panel about any of his releases, about mentalism. Spidey is a very well-experienced live performer. He performs in live shows and bookings around the world every week. So he's got a lot of experience and insight on that, as well as, in general, mentalism and the style of magic that he does. So post any questions for Spidey as you wish. And there he is!
there he is.
Welcome.
Woo.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Oh, that's an amazing setup collection of cards you got behind you. That's really pretty.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I like that.
I even has the accent mark after expose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm French. Well, I'm not French. I'm in French-speaking Canada, so they would sue me if I didn't put that.
You speak French, right?
I
They
speak
just
French.
deport you out of the country.
Yeah, I speak fluent French, JB.
So
We
tell
can-
us,
How's it going?
tell us what's going on. You've had a crazy few weeks between stuff on television, live gigs, and all of this jazz. You were on TV. You were
Face
Off.
doing live gigs.
Yeah. Fake off.
You
Face
all
off.
spoke at the same time. Yeah, Fake Off was, the feedback for Fake Off was more than we ever expected. Like, for the last 3 episodes, for semifinals and finals especially, we started getting, like, blasted on theory11. I mean, you guys shared the video. You saw just the quality of what that show put on that stage, and it was just ridiculous. Like, our Twitters would not stop, and from that I got a deal with Entertainment Tonight where I'll be doing weekly tricks with them in August. And yeah, just interviews and stuff. It's been crazy, and trying to juggle that and gigs, and my daily 3 hours I spend on theory11 just browsing.
Hard.
Yes.
I have a
Takes
question.
lot of time.
At any point during the fake-offs, did you think that you were signing up to be in a 1997 movie with starring Nicolas Cage? Because Andre likes to call it face-off at least once a week, which is not the show that you were on.
I watch it once a week, and I'm like, Spidey, you're amazing in that movie.
That was that John
Amazing.
Travolta, Nicolas Cage movie from.
It was a great movie.
It was.
Jeez.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is fake-off.
Spidey's actually Joel Myers. Yeah.
for people that are unaware of what this show is about, can you tell people what is Fake Off about? Like, it was a challenge show where you were on teams, and what was the objective?
Yeah, so it's basically the competition formula, but it's all the contestants were teams, and the big difference between that and other competition shows is other competition shows, they tell you, come do your act, and then we'll see how it goes. This one, you had some of the biggest consultants in the world working backstage, and some of the biggest budgets. Like, they had wardrobe, they had build teams. We actually had the budget to bring Ryan Edwards with us, who's I mean, Kristen, you know him pretty well.
Yeah.
He's from Canada. He makes gimmicks, and he's one of the best. So he was there working in the workshop with their existing team to build all our props, all our illusions, everything we needed. He just gave the plans in, and we had it the next day. Custom fit wardrobe, like, there was no limit on the budget. They put all the budget in the acts. So you end up seeing these beautiful pieces on that stage that are just Cirque du Soleil material, you know, which, Andre, both your parents were Cirque performers, so.
Right.
Is that at some point
it's
does that become like a difficult part of the creative process, that you weren't so limited by budget? Like, a lot of times budgets give you some limitations, like, all right, we've got 1 day to create something, we've got $37, what are we going to do? Versus if you have such a blank canvas, is it more difficult?
That's a great question. I feel like creatively, it was nice to know that we can go as big as we want to go. You know what I mean? And often, like, some of our pieces, we kept it small and focused a lot on doing smaller magic in a bigger setting. And then some of them we just did really big magic. I think, you know, I could say it would be limiting, but when there's 3 of you, first of all, you know, and all contributing creatively, that limits the process a lot more than the budget, because we all have a different direction we want to go, you know. I was working with 2 exceptional magicians, Joseph Rayom and Joel Myers, and then both of which, Kristen, you saw on Wizard Wars, and both of which did great.
Amazing guys, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like, from Joseph's creativity, I mean, that confetti revelation they did on Wizard Wars was exceptional.
Yep.
You know, and Joel is just dynamite on stage. So they have different ways to look at things. And we had Ryan Edwards as a consultant who thinks very differently, and then we had consultants like Franz Harari working backstage, helping us.
Legendary illusion, grand illusion creator.
Yeah, he's enormous. We had consultants back there, just to give you an idea of the scale. Our staging coach or staging consultant is the guy who choreographs Celine Dion's show. You know, that's the guy who's looking at us and helping us creatively. So we had some big minds on this, just helping us make these acts as good as they could possibly be. Andre, why are you laughing?
Because someone asked, Spidey, do you worry that Peter Parker may sue you for gimmick infringement?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because of spiders.
So I want to know, because these performances are very different from your normal magic performances. What was it like kind of balancing magic but also theatrics? Because that's a huge aspect of these performances. I would think a lot of it is just how theatrical can you possibly make it, how beautiful and how big can you go? Was that difficult for you?
Yeah, Kristen, I think you honestly nailed, like, just the biggest challenge for me, because, I mean, you've seen me on Wizard Wars, but also you've all seen me over the years. I'm a mentalist, and I can get very wordy. Like, I talk a lot about psychology and the mind, and all of a sudden here I'm in this competition where I'm not saying a word, and I'm in these costumes, and it's all about theatrics. There was at least 2 rounds where if the acting was off, we would have gone home. So, and Franz Harari told us that. He said, one of our acts, you guys should go check it out if you haven't seen it, the St. Nicholas one that we did, where it was all about generosity, and we were doing Miser's Dream, and I was a baker. And Franz Harari came to me and he said, if you're acting, Spidey, if your acting on this is not perfect, you guys are going home tomorrow. And that was a lot of pressure on my shoulders, because if you told me a year ago that I was going to go on national television on a huge company, I dress as a baker, and the only thing I'm going to do, magically speaking, is produce a loaf of bread, I'd be like, get out of here, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, and then a week later, if I was told, you know, in front of millions of people watching, you're going to be a caveman on stage who's going to evolve into a prison guard, I'd be like, what are you talking about? What is that? It's not me. I'm going to read mine. That's what I'm... yeah, Kristen, I mean, it was crazy for me to be like, I love magic. I love every aspect of magic, and before I was a mentalist, I was a magician. But to say, you know, I'm taking such a different direction than what I'm used to, it was great.
Can you
What
talk
about
about? I was gonna say, can you talk about the path to get to that direction? There's a question here from Kenny Adams asking about how did you first get started in serious mentalism? Like, what attracted you? Did you see a mentalist, when you were 4 years old? What was your path to get of attracting you to that style of magic, that genre?
It's interesting. I think what it is like if I have to think back and really pinpoint what it was, I think it's.
When did you realize you could read minds?
Can I? I don't know. I don't know I can do that. So I used to do magic. Like I started with magic, and then I had to do some stage shows. I had to step up my game and go from doing close-up to stage shows. And in the beginning, when you don't have a massive budget and you're just a kid who wants to do stage shows, mentalism is an easy place to go because a lot of stage mentalism is done with envelopes and paper and pens and things like that. So it's easy to put a lot of mentalism in your show. But while I was doing that, I noticed that there's something about mentalism, about just connecting with people psychologically that I love. I mean, my degree is in social psych, so I'm obsessed with just that sort of psychological spin on things, and that's reflected in my creations. Like you look at effects like Psycho, which does so well on theory11, and the comments are great. And Psycho is a reflection of the kind of magic I love. Just sort of deeply psychological. Phantom as well, Sneak Peek as well. It's got. And I just got obsessed with that, just the psychological aspect of things.
You liked that style of magic was deeper than just card magic or just whatever other close-up magic in general. That this was about the mind. This was about something deeper and more personal inside your own head.
Yeah, I don't think it's innately deeper. I don't think that it's fair to say that mentalism is innately in and of itself deeper than card magic. It depends who is performing it. I've seen people perform card magic that made me want to weep like a child, because they connect with it. I do connect with it. I do love card tricks, but I personally, as a person, connect more with mentalism, and that's what could come through when I perform, better than if I were to perform with a deck of cards because I connect with it. And I think that's important for all you aspiring performers out there. You look at theory11 and you go, here's this incredible trick called Sub Rosa, which is a card trick, which is incredible. And then here's Break, which is one of the greatest mentalism effects I've ever seen. And you're tempted to get both and do both because they're powerful effects. But I think somewhere in your professional career, there needs to be that decision of, yes, they're both powerful effects, but which one can I convey better?
Right.
Buy both. Buy both.
Speaking of Break, can you show us a live demo of that? Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to. But before I do, I want to say one thing to Kristen, because just to close off the fake-off subject, because Kristen, you were asking about fake-off and the challenges. One of the biggest challenges, and we spoke about this all the time backstage, the three of us, we came from Wizard Wars, and we missed so much having intelligent, magic-savvy judges. We were like, we need... because the panelists on Fake Off all had dance backgrounds, right? So we'd come out and we'd do magic, and they'd go, your magic is great, but I had some issues with timing. And I go, what do you mean the magic? You can't throw it away with the magic is great. On Wizard Wars, you guys were like, oh, it's really hard to do that move in this condition. It's really tough to routine it that way. You appreciate the fact that you this. So you guys understood technically how difficult it is. In our final piece, in the Harry Potter piece, we had a floating table, a dancing handkerchief. We had 2 human vanishes. Joseph did an open-hand umbrella production. And on Wizard Wars, you guys would have commented on the technicality of that. But they were like, oh, the magic was great, but here are some timing issues. We're like, magicians don't have timing. That's like... Right,
yeah.
That's like judging a dancer on his voice. It doesn't make any sense. That just, cut the sort of the... We had this comfort where we're like, we know the magic is going to fry them, but they were like, your magic is so good, but can you do better on choreography? We're like, no, we can't. So it was we missed you guys. We missed, your insight, Jason's insight, and Penn, Penn and Teller, but Penn was the one voicing it, of being able to catch how technically difficult that stuff is that we were doing, because these judges don't know how hard it is. Anyways, just wanted to vent a little bit.
Yeah, being judged on blocking in addition to your magic is tough, and you feel like you get a lot of the beautiful things that you put into your act wasted on people who just don't understand how difficult it is to walk and do that at the same time, let alone do
timing magic, pacing magic isn't as easy as people think. When you're watching an act, whether it's Copperfield or Penn and Teller or us on Fake Off, and you go, the act was beautiful, the magic was beautiful, it's not enough to say that, I feel. Like, you got to understand what goes into that magic. But they were just like, they discard all the magic in one movie. Like, the magic was beautiful, but no. Which is why we had to go to things like acting and really, like, deep deception and really, like, just sort of creating that atmosphere, because we knew that's what was going to up our game and bring us to the finals, and luckily it did.
Yeah.
But it's important to say that in and this is something I feel about AGT as well. In competitions that include magicians, you need judges like Kristen Gerhardt. You need judges like Jason Latimer. You need judges who understand that this one guy did an amazing trick that took him 10 years of practice, and this other guy did a trick that he bought in a shop for $10. And you need to comment on that. Anyway, sorry, just frustrated a little bit.
No, absolutely.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Spidey, you've been on a ton of like competition-based like magic events, and like, do you see that being different for you than being on any television appearance or doing a live stage show? Like, how does that different? How does that have a different process for you?
It differs depending on who's judging you and who's watching you. Our thought process, like I said, for things like Wizard Wars and Fool Us, was very different than our thought process for Wizard Wars, because, like, let me give you an example. Our first week of Fake Off, we invented magic. We created new effects, new ways of doing things that haven't been done before. And then we realized after the performance that this isn't Kristen and Penn and Teller and Jason. This is freaking, people who are great dancers, great choreographers, huge in that business, but they don't know squat about magic. So we're like, the classics are classics for a reason, So our first two acts we innovated. Our third act went to classics, Miser's Dream, Snowstorm in China. We did something with a mirror box. Things that, we're like, it's a classic for a reason, and these guys aren't going to judge us on originality because they don't know how original this stuff is. So let's use time-tested magic in a story context, and it worked out great. Is it different than live? Yeah, it's totally different than live. You become aware of the fact that, when we were on Wizard Wars, I performed, and when I performed, in the back of the room was blonde girl, big guy, little guy who doesn't talk, an Asian dude. Like, it was just other audience members, you know what I mean? Because you're getting in that performance mode. And then when I was done, and I'm so happy Kristen started talking first, because if Penn started talking, I would have passed out. I needed to be eased up quick. It was great to see a friendly face in the back of that room, because you get done performing and you go, holy hell, I just performed in front of Penn and Teller and Kristen and Jason and all these cameras, and this is going to be on TV. You don't realize until you're done performing, because you're just so caught up in that sort of making your act ready for that stage, and then it's like, oh my God, what just happened? What did I just do?
Speaking of dealing with nerves, I remember you were telling me how, like, you were doing some pre-show work for Wizard Wars, and you had Kyle ask that girl, and she was supposed to say, like, 2, and you were like, that was so nervous. You feel like you have butterflies in your stomach, you kind of want to throw up, and you're like, she was supposed to say 2, and you're like, hey, think of a number 1 to 5, and she's like, 4, and you're like, whoa! And you just want to barf, like projectile vomiting.
Kristen, do you remember that? Kristen, do you remember me pretending I had a mic bomb and walking off stage? You probably don't, because there was so much going on, but Kyle was supposed to, we're tipping method here, but Kyle Marlette was supposed to show force number 2 on somebody in the audience. And
sounds so weird. Go ahead.
I just heard that! Oh my God. There's just no coming back from that.
Oh my God.
Kyle Marlette was supposed to
force the number.
Make sure that somebody in the audience was thinking of the digit. Anyways, we had to do what we had to do, and then I step out on stage and I go, you there in front, name a number from 1 to 5, and the girl goes 4, and I'm like, Justin Flom says that in edit, like in camera, it looked like this. The girl goes 4, and I go, and I just walk off. In reality, I was like, I look at the producers and I go, you guys hear that? My mic's a little off, and they're like, well, I'm like, yeah, my mic, I can't. I'm like, and I step off, and I just step off stage, and they're like, what are you doing? Go back. And I'm like, no. And I get backstage, and I'm swearing backstage, what the is wrong with Kyle? I can't even, and like just so, and Kyle's like, dude, I asked you to do one thing, and Kyle's a great guy. I love Kyle so much, but I'm just caught up in this frustration. Now realizing my mic's still on, and the audience can hear me. Chris Ramsey's on stage, just, oh, hey, Spidey, what's going on? Just keeps talking so that they don't know what's going on. And then, and then I just have to walk back out, rectify the mistake, walk right off, come back in, and then everything was smooth sailing.
Oh my God! You and I have like the best stories when we're filming. So, but speaking of break, can you show us a quick live performance of that? And we'll talk about the.
Are we going to talk about the thing that made us laugh when we were filming Break?
Of course we are. We're speaking of number 2, aren't we?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, if this is a poop story, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, it is a poop story.
Do they know this?
No, I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to do Break.
But it is a poop story.
I'm going to do Break.
We're going to break it down. Get it?
Don't say, because we're going to do the effect first, okay? So this is you guys. Now, this is not me doing a commercial plug-in or anything. This is actually the best metal bending and breaking routine on the market. It's the best because of a few things. First of all, there's nothing in my hands. Sleeves are rolled up. And already that makes it the greatest thing. There's nothing to hide, so you can focus on presentation. So you have this initialed by someone. I'm going to go with JB.
Solid.
Justin Bieber. Got it.
He has the same initials as Justin Bieber.
Got it.
Okay, and obviously they're signing this, so they have a chance to, hold it in their hands and know that there's absolutely nothing weird going on with this coin. So here's my routine. In my routine, I say, let me show you the difference between an optical illusion or illusion and real magic. Optical illusion is something that deceives the eye. For example, if I were to take that coin and place it in my hand, it would vanish and come out of my wrist. Now that's pretty good to get me to the finals of AGT, but it's not that amazing. Haha. Here's an auditory illusion. Listen, it sounds like I'm breaking the coin and putting it back together, but that's just it's an auditory illusion. It sounds like I'm breaking it, but what I'm doing is I'm actually just running my nail off the side of the coin. I'm not really breaking it. But watch this. This is real magic. I just placed that coin in my hand, and if I focus, you can actually see that coin has been bent. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
You bent Justin Bieber.
I did, right there where they initialed it. And that's not something that's physically possible, but check it out. If I just focus, you can actually see it bending.
Nice.
A little bit more. Look at that. It's almost like a 90-degree angle now. Look at that. And look, it almost looks like I could affect the consistency. Look at that. It almost looks like it's watery. Look, open your hand, and they open their hand, and you drop. That. And now they have this happen. You go, look, try it yourself. And as they're trying to do it, so I go, look, try it. There's no way, right? But check mine out. Look at mine. It almost looks like, again, I can sort of just bend it. Look at it. It looks like the consistency is changing. It's going from solid to liquid. Watch. JV just caught on to what happened. And now they're left with this really dismantled. Guys, I'm trying to do a trick here.
All right, so Spidey and I are filming, and we get on these, like, every project that we've ever done was an astral projection.
I don't know where the story's going.
Okay.
Andre and I realized about 10 seconds into filming the trailer that there's absolutely no way to describe Break to somebody who doesn't know what it is without sounding like you're talking about going number 2. So this is me filming the trailer with Andre. We're here and I go.
No, this is actually the explanation. Remember, we were like, you got to roll with the punches. Sometimes,
Yeah, so I'm going like this. I'm like, so here's where you got to kind of squeeze it a little till the half drops. And I'm like, okay, sorry, that sounded wrong. Let me try that again. So this is where you focus. Okay, now if you didn't give it enough strength, you might want to give it a little bit of an extra push, and then it's going to drop into their hand. And then the whole look, it looks like it's going from solid to liquid. And then look, you take the other half and you focus again. Concentrate just a little bit more, and that other half is just going to drop. I'm sorry, that sounded weird. It's going to break off into the, there's just no way to.
So this is me behind the camera. Usually I'm recording Spidey, and I'm kind of like this. I'm just watching him, watching the monitor. And as soon as he says something funny, I just kind of retreat the camera because I don't want to let him see me laugh.
I have a picture that I'm going to post after we're done with Exposé, where Andre is literally concealed behind a pillow, working the camera over the pillow like this because he's going to look at me and I couldn't look at him.
Yeah, but you knew every time I hide, he knows I'm cracking up, so I'm just recording with the camera and he just loses it.
I see a pillow wiggling.
Oh my goodness.
And you drop it into the, and you know, like my demeanor, like you guys know, in reality, this is me. But on the trailers, like we're all like serious and mysterious and such like. And then as you wiggle it, it breaks into their hand.
Yep, that's our break story.
And it's
Oh
cool.
my goodness.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We may release that. I still have footage of that. I never put it on there because of, like, I literally, Spidey, I think I had over an hour of outtakes. I have over an hour of outtakes. Spidey doing the same, like, 30-second bit that we never got through.
Yeah, we have to
That's
change.
how bad it was.
We have to call JB and be like, JB, what do we say? Help.
That was why you called me? You guys didn't mention that.
Yes.
That was the backstory.
Yeah, that was the back, yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
Did not know that.
We should release an entire new effect called number 2.
Yes.
With that explanation.
Follow up the break.
Truly organic magic.
Oh!
Master, easy to master miracles.
Broken down step by step.
Broken down.
Easily resettable.
See, all this is
Instant
all gold
reset.
right here.
We're not going to leave anything out. We're going to be very careful about
Spidey, good question. There's a lot of questions coming in right now in the chat room. I want to get to a few. One of the most common questions we've gotten about break has been, what do you do, because you don't live in the U.S., how do you get around the idea of using an American penny, and what do you recommend other people? We told people that, in the future we may come out with break in other countries' currency, and we will probably be doing that. But in the meantime, what do you do if you're on the street in Toronto or Montreal, where you're at, and you're doing this effect? How do you get into that? What do you justify it?
So my advice to the Canadians is different than my advice to everyone else. For the Canadians, it's actually quite fortunate because I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, they took pennies out of our currency. We don't have pennies anymore. So it stands to reason that if you want to do a trick with copper, that you would introduce an American penny. Plus, it looks so similar to what our pennies used to look like that nobody really cares much. Besides, they had a chance to inspect it in their hands. So, it's like in magic, we so often introduce things that they've never seen, and that flies by. So why not introduce something they have seen before, and it doesn't take much justification. But here's the biggest thing. In magic, if you can use a weakness, because I don't think this is a weakness at all, to your strength, do it. And here's how you do it with break. How about you say, with what I do, I get to tour a lot, and I get to see different parts of the world. I'm very fortunate. And I've got some change here, but it's from all over the place, and you get a couple of different currencies in there, Canadian, European. So what you're doing there is subtly telling these people that you're not just a hobbyist. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. I mean, you lie all the time when you perform. What you're telling them is that your magic is good enough to make you travel. Now, in my case, that's true. I perform a lot in the States, so it makes sense for me to have a pocket full of U.S. change. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because it's all part of the act. To say I travel a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. You're subtly telling them that you're really good because you travel. So no one's going to mind. You go, I travel a lot. So you just say, let me see if I have some change. And, oh, you know what? I travel a lot with what I do, so I've got some U.S. change here. Let's use this pen. No one cares.
And it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Greece, you could be in Russia, and you could say the exact same thing, and we should just fly by. It doesn't matter.
Which is a plus. You turned maybe what could have been a minus into a plus.
Exactly. That's amazing.
And also, I remember when I was a kid, one of the first tricks I did was Scotch and soda, and I never thought anything of it when I walked up to people and saying, I have an American half dollar and a Mexican centavo. No one's like, where'd you get that Mexican centavo? No one asked. We just said, I have this.
90% of the magic we do is with half dollars and centavos and British pounds. Like, if you could talk that away, I'm sure you could talk away a U.S.
You could figure out a way to justify why you have sponge balls. Which every magician seems totally fine with. No one questions like, oh, why would I carry that around? But if you can justify that, you can justify currency of the U.S. But we are, that said, planning on introducing new other currencies with break, but we started with the pennies for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me tell you this. If we're looking at probably the greatest mentalism release of the last decade for me, one of the top three, I think that it's not available in my currency. If that's the biggest weakness that this trick has, then fine, I'll take it. You know what I mean? It's not even a weakness. But let's look at the world here, guys. This is a miracle. It's a miracle. You are completely hands empty, bending and breaking a coin. I don't think anybody. Let me put it this way. I've done this all over the States. I've done this all over Canada. I have never seen a Canadian, when I'm done, be like, yeah, but you know what? It's a U.S. coin, so I'm not that amazed. They were too busy wiping their jaw on the floor to even notice it. So
another good question is about presentation of this. I think you touched on this in the video, but we talked about it before we filmed break, and that is with a lot of mentalism, but with this effect break, and even with book tests, you have the conundrum of what are you as a performer trying to make your audience believe that you have. For example, with break, are you trying to make them believe that you are super strong or that you can bend things with your mind? With a book test, are you trying to make your audience believe that you are like Rain Man, like this savant who has memorized the entire book, or that you are reading their mind? In which case, if you're reading their mind, why are you involving a book? Why don't you just say, think of a word? So you have to think through, what are you trying to have your audience believe about this performance, or is there somewhere in between?
I think it's extremely important to find a justification that makes sense. Like Kristen saw so many magicians come and go on the set of Wizard Wars, and I'm sure she can attest to the fact that, because we were given very odd items, right? And there's two ways to handle that on Wizard Wars, where you could come up and say, I have this weird item that I was asked to do magic with, so here's my trick, and the judges will feel that. Our priority, Kristen, I don't know if you remember our first round with the quarters and the darts and the pillows. Yeah. We said, okay, let's do this as though we weren't given these items and said do magic with these, but rather this is an act that we're doing and all of this makes sense to us. And when you do so, yeah, JB, the most important thing is to justify everything you're doing. So commit to whatever it is. Maybe, so break. Maybe it's a feat of strength. Maybe it's a feat of mentalism. My routine is a feat of mentalism. It's something I'm doing with my mind. I don't say it that way, but the fact that it's bending in the hand without me touching it, and they see it bending more, and then I'm changing the consistency of it, that's a lot more mentalism than check me out. Boom! And I think that would work less with break. It's a bit more, you're tipping the method a little more. Another interesting way I've been using break lately is, and this is so good for you mentalists / hypnotists out there, those of you who are into suggestions and things like this and want to talk about the psychology of that. So you give a penny to a spectator in their hands and you go, try to bend that, try to break that. Nobody could do it. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. In fact, now you do your switch, I want you to sign it, that way you know I'm using the same one. And then you look at them and you go, so maybe you have them close their eyes, it's pseudo-hypnosis, right? And you go, I want you to imagine you have the strength to not only bend, but break a coin with your hands. I want you to really imagine there's a world in which it's possible to do that, and you can actually do that. In fact, I want you to imagine that this penny is not a penny, but rather it's just a little wooden disc, and it's very easy to snap because you're the strongest person in the world. Now you have them hold up their hands, you have them hold it, and you have them break it.
So it's right. You're altering you're making them do it. You're empowering them to do it. That's what's the effect? The emotion box. I've seen a bunch of mentalism performers do, where you're reaching their hand inside of a box and they're Darren Brown did that on his last special. But that sort of thing where the spectator is the one that's doing this versus you as the performer.
Yeah,
it's very powerful.
I think if as a feat of strength, I think if you could give them that strength as opposed to being the show off who's like, check me out. It's like, and I mean, magicians were not known to be like the big, So
wait, what? I just went to the gym 3 years ago, so.
I've seen JB fall over when it was breezy outside, so. It was windy. Oh, it was windy. Breezy is the wrong word. It was
hurricane.
Yeah, it was hurricane. So I think it's less believable that we have this enormous strength. Now, I'm not saying you can't explain that. Maybe you could say, I've been playing with cards my whole life, so it develops a certain strength in the fingers. Fine, maybe. But I feel like if you give them that strength and use like pseudo-hypnosis to make it look like suggestion is giving them the ability to break a coin,
So
that's
what do you do in your stage shows when you're doing, shows? I know you shows around the country, around the entire world, stage shows. What is the character that you're perpetuating? Or is it that you are a actual mind reader, or that you have? What do you say? I mean, Darren Brown starts his last special by saying, "I'm not a psychic. I have no special powers. I have no special abilities. Although things I do tonight may lead you to believe that I do." Start off, I don't, and then he goes into a show. Like, what is your persona?
Great question. I am obsessed with seance magic, so I'm obsessed with things that like move and make noise and fall over and things that we hear and touches and stuff. But every single time I do any of those effects, I'll say something along the lines of this. I'll be like, this bell I found in an auction. They told me that it was found in a haunted house. Now, I don't believe in that kind of thing, but let's try this anyways. It's always like that. It's like, I was told that this thing is, I was told that this once belonged to a psychic who used to be able to speak to spirits. I don't believe in psychics. I don't believe in spirits, but I still want to show you guys what I can do with this. So Banachek made a great point. If you come out and you say, I'm a psychic, I can read your mind, and then you read their mind, it's not amazing because you just said it's possible. It's like levitating on the moon. Like, it's possible there, so why is it amazing? If you come out and say psychics are not real, there's no such thing as mind reading, and then you read their minds, that's more amazing because you just said it doesn't exist.
Right. You're introducing fiction with skepticism. It's really cool.
Yeah. And that, I mean, Kristen, you sat next to Penn Jillette for a long time, and I'm sure that there was a lot of things that we didn't hear that he was commenting on. And Kristen's a scientist, and Jason was a scientist. I love the fact that the panelists at Wizard Wars were all have science backgrounds, and Penn Jillette is one of the biggest skeptics in the world. There's something to be said about our responsibility as people who understand that these are secrets and tricks to share that knowledge with people. You don't have to say it directly, like this is a cheap trick or something like that, but it is our responsibility to not spread ignorance. You know what I mean? I feel. Like,
right. No, it's true. It's true.
It's one thing to entertain them with our lies. It's another thing to make them believe that
educate them, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Telling a story is not necessarily a lie. It's a story. You're putting on a show for them. You're doing something that's entertaining, and that's not lying to them. That's being entertaining.
Exactly.
But perpetuating lies and ignorance and false truths, that's a different thing.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's perfectly worded. People come to me and they go, "Hey, you said in your show that you don't believe that you're psychic, but then how is it possible that you do that?" And my answer to them is this: I go, I don't believe I'm a psychic any more than Robert Downey Jr. believes he's Iron Man. It's a role.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wait, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. Tony Stark is Iron Man.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
Just wanted to clarify.
It's a fact.
Kristen just nerded out on us. I can see Kristen's little smirk every time you mention anything from like nerd culture.
I'm like, ah.
Actually.
No.
Actually.
No, but I think that's a really good way of looking at things. Is that you're a showman and you're putting on a show and you're being entertaining, and you could play a character and you can have all these special abilities or links to things that have unexplained phenomena, but without perpetuating people who are going to go out in the world and be like, oh, I met an actual psychic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely.
We have a question from Spidey. If you could read for real anyone's mind, who would it be?
Ooh.
Hold on. I got this. Hold on. Give me a second. Who would have a blackjack dealer at the casino?
Any blackjack dealer?
Because they
Why blackjack? You can't.
They know what's under there. Oh no, they don't know what's under there.
Yeah, you can't affect it anyway. Yeah,
you just ruined you only had one wish. The genie's gone, and
genie's gone.
Listen, stop. Listen to me. I gotta explain that statement before I sound like an idiot.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna go back to the fact that
genie's back in the bottle.
I will not set that genie free with my third wish if he continues to be in. Okay, so. I used to perform a lot in the South, in like the Caribbean, where at the casino, when they were showing an ace or a 10, they would physically lift the other card, and see what it was, because it was lower budget casinos. Now in casinos in the States, they don't know what the value of the card is. They know, like if they're showing an ace, all they know is if there's a 10 under there or not. So I was talking about the old school way where they actually lift.
It doesn't even matter. They have to hit or stand on 17 anyway.
But I
They're
want
going
to
on a
know.
procedural.
They look first.
Why would you want to know? That gives you no advantage.
No, I have to play before. Andre, listen. I'm
Okay.
right. They're showing an ace, right? They look to see
Right.
what's under there, and then I
Okay,
get.
you're right. The ace is the only time you might have an advantage knowing, but that's
ace
the
or
only
10,
time.
Or the 10. If they're showing a 10, they have to check if it's an ace under there. So anytime they're showing a 10, which is often, they look at that card
Right.
and they know what it is. So I'm going to play differently if it's 6 than if it's a 9. Are you kidding? I'd be million.
You wouldn't. They still have to follow the procedures of standing or hitting on
I
17.
understand, Andre.
Stopping
But
at
listen to
17.
me. No, listen to me. Dealer's showing a 10, right? Dealer's showing a 10. I have like a 15. I want to hit. But if he looks under there and that 10 is accompanied by a 6, I'm not going to hit.
Right, but you wouldn't know what you wouldn't know what he's going to hit on next and what he would get either way. So
It doesn't matter.
you could get a card
Guys, JB, Kristen, please tell me you're following my train of thought here.
I'm complete. I stopped following about 2.5 minutes ago, but I appreciate.
I'm thinking about Iron Man.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
thinking
here.
about
Tony
Iron
Stark.
Man.
Are we still at Tony Stark?
Well, I was
Wait.
thinking whose mind would I read, but it wouldn't be Iron Man.
Speaking of reading minds, I have an idea for our comment contest this week. It involves you, Spidey. It also involves everyone in the chat. So I have a deck of Nomad playing cards right here. It's a deck. I'm seeing a bunch of playing cards behind Spidey's face. So we're doing a playing card related thing. I'm going to take one card off of the deck, and I'm going to fold it. Can you see it? In half. I'm not switching it. I'm just folding it so that you can't see it. I don't even know what this card is. Holding it perfectly. I won't look. And here's our contest. I'm going to hold the card like this. You guys in the comments are going to, you have one guess as to what card this is, and here are the rules. The first person, you guys get one guess. You can go ahead and post now while I explain the rest of this. And here's what we'll do. If whoever's the first person that gets it correct in the chat will either take home one deck of Nomad playing cards if Spidey does not guess this correctly. But if Spidey guesses this little card correctly, the first person who gets it correct will win 12 decks of Nomad playing cards, these playing cards. Hopefully I didn't just flash it, whatever it is. So Spidey, the pressure's on you. The people in the chat will win more if you use your mentalism psychic abilities to get this correct, or people will just win one deck if they get it correct.
I'll be right back. I'll give me 10 seconds.
Where are you going? You have X-ray glasses or something? What are you getting?
He just shows up at your hotel room in New York, wherever you are.
He's here.
Just right there. Just peek his little head over.
We got a lot of guesses going on in the chat right now. So the first person who gets this correct will be our winner. But what they win is now up for debate, whether or not Spidey gets this correct or not. This is the card. Nothing else in my hands. I'm not going to switch it. I don't know where Spidey went, so the contest is kind of blown until Spidey gets back. I think he just left.
Snack break. Really
Snack
quick.
break. I forgot we have a scheduled snack break at.
Yes.
Now, since you put me on the spot, I get to pick the process in which I do this. So I am going to write it down on this piece of paper.
Oh god. The inside of this envelope.
Comic contest.
Because it's not fair. You might switch it. I don't trust you. I know you know Blake Voigt. So I've written down my prediction over here.
Okay. Let's see it.
No.
I'll show you. I'll show you yours if you show me mine. What? I don't know.
Whoa.
Deal, yeah. Show, go. You go first.
Let's see if we make sure everyone's had a chance. Last call in the chat room right now. Let's see. Yeah, we've
Can
got
I
a
guess?
lot. Yes, Andre, you can guess as well. Go.
All right.
By the way, guys, totally unrelated. My thumb has had these weird twitches lately.
Got it. All right, so we got everyone's had it. Kristen, what's your guess? Go.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'll have to get over here and write it down.
gotta post it.
Kristen's posting. 2 of spades. I see it. All right, so everyone's had your time. Final answers locked in. Spidey, for real, because I have to get this on here. Because if you get it right, people are going to win a lot more. So I need a real guess, real thought, mind reading.
What I wrote down was the 3 hearts.
It's close, but the actual card is...
It's the 3 of hearts. I'm going to laugh so hard.
Joker.
Wild card.
What? That's not fair.
Joker,
no, you gotta
Joker,
do it
Joker.
again. You gotta do it again.
Nope, Joker counts. Someone in the
Doesn't
chat
count.
guessed Joker. One of the first guesses in the chat here was Joker, so let's see who I think it was. Sunny G guessed Joker. Who else guessed the Joker? Anyone before that?
Sneaky, sneaky.
No, I think this prize goes
What?
to Sunny G guessing Joker. He's one of the first 10 guesses here.
Here's me.
That's amazing.
Oh, Spidey got it as well. No, it's like,
I'm
oh
dyslexic.
yes, it was upside down.
Yeah,
It
it's upside
looks like
down.
a butt. I don't know.
I'm dyslexic. My E is just a little off, okay?
That's great.
Ooh.
So
Sunny
sneaky.
G will take home the prize here.
Ask the Joker which card he's thinking of.
Which card are you thinking of? He's at 3 of hearts. It's
Hearts.
amazing. It's incredible. Yeah, Sunny G, you guessed Joker. You are correct. So you will take home the prize this week.
Who's that? I'm sorry. I owe you who is it?
Sunny G, the Sunny G.
Sunny G. I'm sorry. I owe you 11 decks.
Spotty, let's we got to run in a second. Give me a quick recap. What's up next for you? Are you doing more TV stuff? Are you doing a bunch of live shows? What's your next few weeks like?
I'm still dealing with the press from all the TV stuff I have been doing. I am going on a massive college tour in August because it's back to school and that's like my busiest season. And that actually lasts all the way to February, so I'll be on tour all over the states. August, September.
Where can people that are watching this see your tour dates?
Let them check out my Facebook.
Is it facebook.com/Spider-Man? It's not. I was wrong.
Can we make an alternate universe for, like they did Spider-Gwen? Can I be the female version of you in the alternate Spider-Girl universe?
Who are we doing Zodiac with?
Wait, what? What do you say?
Jamie, who are we doing Zodiac with? Are we doing Spidey or
People have to stay tuned.
Zodiac? The book reading test. It's the one you.
There's options.
Stay tuned.
There's options.
Spidey, what's your real
Yeah.
Facebook page?
Something like Spidey Magic. I don't know, Spidey Magician.
Go to facebook.com/something Spidey.
Spidey Magic. Just
Something.
search Spidey Magician and hypnotist.
Facebook.com/Spider-Man. You heard it here first. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Spidey, for
Thank
joining
you.
us on this whole thing and this
You're amazing.
adventure.
Thank you, man.
Good luck and
That was so much fun.
congrats on all of the success on television and live stuff. You've been busy.
Andre, not once in all of this did you refer to me by my new real name that you baptized me.
Oh, Voldemort?
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Well, that's all it is.
Tom
It's,
Riddle?
"He who shall not be named Bedros Akelian."
Yes.
Oh, dude, yeah. A.K.A. Tom Riddle. Better, yeah.
Tom Riddle's actually a pretty good, like, stage hypnotist name, by the way.
He is a
Kind of
pretty
is.
I'm gonna do it.
All right, I'm switching. Tom Riddle.
Like that?
I like it.
Dude, you should involve Horcruxes. Can you put Horcruxes in your show? That would be epic.
Like things that,
It would be epic.
like if they stab them, I die. And then at the
Well,
end,
no, because they'd have to stab all of them. So if they stab them, you just half die.
weaken.
Dude, yeah, and it's like power of suggestion, you know?
Yeah, like I start doing tricks from theory11, and then they kill like 2 of my Horcruxes, and all of a sudden I'm doing tricks from illusionist, and then stab 2 more, and I'm
No, and then,
like YouTube tutorials.
dude, and you can speak Armenian, but tell them you're speaking parcel tongue,
Yeah.
because they still wouldn't understand.
Like Andre, to do a nail stab, but like it's my final Horcrux, the nail stab. So if it gets stabbed, I
Oh,
die.
right.
So instead
Yeah.
of stabbing with
But
my
you're
hand,
not
I've got my final Horcrux, and it's like, where's I going to stab it? Boom, and I'm okay because I'm meant to.
I like it.
You
Dude,
gotta
I dig
invent
it.
that.
All right. Well, that about sums it up. So,
I think I'm going to get yelled at by JB for a recent comment I made.
I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's good. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat room. Have a good weekend. Thanks for all you guys who asked questions and stuff in the chat. And thank you to Spidey for your time and doing this thing. Hopefully we'll have you on again, so we'll have more questions and stuff for you next time.
Thank you guys. We'll
Yeah.
see ya.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
That's
Bye.